The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League. This week on the Panthers Huddle, Coach Canales talks about his decision to start Andy Dalton against the Las Vegas Raiders and get an inside look at the making of a masterpiece right here at Bank of America Stadium. Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle.
Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle. Kristen Balboni, Thomas Davis, joined by head coach Dave Canales. Coach, it's always great to see you.
Great to see you.
All right, we are going to start with the big news at quarterback. You announced earlier this week that Andy Dalton will be starting this week. How difficult of a decision is that?
Very difficult. A lot of thought went into it. A lot of just analyzing, kind of reflecting, and the place that I landed on is my job is to help the Panthers win, and I feel like Andy gives us our best chance to have success and to win.
And speaking of him, how does his skill set fit with what you want to do as an offense?
You know, his resume speaks for itself, but this is a guy that understands what we're doing, and he gives us a chance to continue to build as we become us. And it's all a part of it. You know, it's every game is another step for us to find that improvement, to find areas where we need to focus on, to really, attack it with energy. And Andy just allows us to continue to take the right steps to become the Panthers.
Coach, with such a young team, and I know that we've both unfortunately been a part of some slow starts, and we know we got a lot of football left ahead of us, and that's the best part about where we are right now as a football team. But what is the messaging to some of these younger guys? What are you doing or what are you saying to keep some of these guys motivated right now?
Just hitting it right, going right to the play style, the effort, enthusiasm, the toughness, playing smart, intelligent football, and the finish. And we're looking at all the basics, all the things that really don't require talent. Can we go hard every play? That's the first thing I ask our staff is let's critique effort first as we build our team and the mentality and style of what we're doing. Attacking every day with urgency. Every single time we're out there on the practice field, we got to capture those moments as we continue to stack our football, learning our concepts and capturing the play style, showing them examples. This is us. Showing them other examples. This is not us. And just being really having a lot of intentionality about how we do that.
Speaking of that, you have expectations going into this season, certainly for the team, for the coaching staff, for yourself. Do you approach those expectations on a week-to-week basis with your team, or is it like, hey, we want to be this at the end of the season?
No, it's daily. It's daily, and again, it's capturing what we want it to look like, what we want it to feel like. And that certainly comes with all of the different play calls and the things that we're figuring out as we go from our team. But it's really just about the way that we approach our team, the care, the urgency, the effort, all those things. Those are the things that we look for daily as we, evaluate our team and our staff and the way we're doing things.
Coach, we know that, the outcome of the game didn't end up where any of us would have liked, but we know that there were some bright spots, in particular on the offensive side. Chuba Hubbard averaging over 6 yards a carry, bright spot. Shaq Thompson, career high, 14 tackles in this football game, coming back off of an injury. And then J.C. Horn coming away with a huge interception. What is your messaging to some of these guys to keep the morale up for this football team as the season goes on?
Yeah, it's just taking those victories that we can to look at. We focused a lot of energy on the run game, and offensively, we showed what we can do. We moved the line of scrimmage. We ran downhill aggressively, and defensively, we ran and hit. We improved in that regard, and the story was third down on both sides. We didn't convert them. Defensively, we gave up too many. The early run game put us into some favorable third downs for the Chargers offense. So we didn't do ourselves any favors in that regard. So we know where the energy needs to be focused on. And it's really about coming away with every day. It's like having a focal point. Guys, we're putting the pads on today. It's about the run game. Let's all do our job. Let's play with great effort. And I want to see the finish. I want to see everybody finishing to our standard. And that starts off with me giving them that message, the coaches echoing that message. But TD, as you know, that comes from a pride of playing together. And as we play football together and the guys understand that, we see more and more the style of what we're looking for. Got to give Coach Darren Bates a shout out. He had a great presentation about attacking the football last week in our meetings on Thursday. we saw the results of that intentionality come to life as we were striking at the ball and really had 3 opportunities, almost 4 opportunities to get turnovers. That's the type of football that we're looking for.
Coach, thank you so much. This was great to recap that game. And when we come back, we are talking about the Raiders.
I'm really excited for this opportunity. You know, when I came here, I wasn't sure if I was going to get another opportunity to start again. And so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about what's ahead. And, you know, it's a tough situation. I've been on both sides of it. And it's not hard. I mean, it's hard on everybody. So, but for me, I'm looking forward to it. Bryce and I are really close, and it's tough sitting in that position, hearing, you know, that you're not going to be starting, and all the emotions that come with it, you know, and so it is tough to be there. Hopefully, our friendship and everything that we've built from the moment he got here will stay, and I know it will.
You know, I love Andy. We're super close, and you know, I love this team. I love my teammates. So it's not hard to root for them, to try to do everything I can to help, to play my role. You know, to try to just be around to help in whatever way I can. So really, because of those factors, it's not hard to do. But again, at the end of the day, I take accountability for myself, for my actions, for how things have gone. You know, at the end of the day, the quarterback and as a leader, it all falls on my shoulders. And, you know, I have to take that in stride and, you know, do what I can now to try to grow and improve. So, yeah.
Coming up, Coach Canales and the crew look ahead to our first ever road game in Las Vegas against the Raiders, and see the stunning new artwork at Bank of America Stadium on the Panthers Huddle. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Welcome back to the Huddle. All right, Coach, let's talk about Las Vegas. First time the Panthers are going there since the Raiders moved to Vegas. How do you approach a West Coast game? Are you on West Coast time early? What's the plan?
You know, our structure and the way we did training camp is such that we have the body readiness to be able to play at different times. Certainly, when you get a 1 o'clock game on the West Coast, you're playing a little bit later in the afternoon. So it was important throughout camp to make sure that we had some afternoon experience, you know, so we started to back up the times of practice a little bit. It all matters, as guys have to be ready to be able to play at any given time, really, and, you know, even looking to the future, looking at playing in Germany in November, you know, so it's really important for us to have a process in place that gets us ready to play ball. Other than that, we just tell the guys, look, the field's going to be the same size. It's going to be 53 1/3 by 100. It's going to be green, and I promise you guys, it'll feel right. It'll feel like an NFL environment. I've been to Vegas. I've been in the stadium before to be able to play there, and it's a great environment for us.
Coach, the Raiders are coming off of a very unexpected win against the Baltimore Ravens. Not a lot of people gave them an opportunity to go into Baltimore and win that football game. Is that some messaging that you can use throughout the course of this week for your players going into a road game with not a lot of expectations, right? So what are some of the things that you can talk to our guys about going into this game as far as being the underdog and just coming away with this big win?
Yeah, just looking at the style of football that they play, starting with Coach Antonio Pierce, you know, and his background. He's a Long Beach guy. I'm from Carson, California, 2 neighboring towns. But his roots are set in just playing good, hard football, aggressive football. And you see a group that defensively swarms to the ball. They all run, they hold each other accountable, and they really have that style of play to them. Offensively, they start with the run game. You know, they want to develop that full team toughness, special teams as well. A lot of speed out there, some good size matchups. For our group, echoing the message, guys, it's not about them, it's about us. Bringing everything we have and playing with that kind of pride that we know we can play with.
But one big thing that went into their win last week was the passing attacks. We saw Brock Bowers, Devontae Adams, of course. a little bit different than what you saw with the Chargers. So how do you limit that passing attack?
Yeah, so a versatile, balanced team, right? And it all starts off with assignment football. So making sure it starts with the run game, fitting the run game upright, and then just getting those little tells formationally, being aware of their playmakers and where they're at, where they're placed in the formations, gives a lot of information to our defensive guys.
Coach, you've kind of touched on this a little bit. Andy Dalton is a proven veteran in this league. He's played a lot of football, but he's only had one start as a Carolina Panther. What is your messaging to him going into this week and preparing him for this game, getting ready to face a guy like Max Crosby? What are some of the things that you're saying that allows him to be who we know he's capable of being?
It's about the process. The process that we're putting in place from a weekly basis of improvement. Wednesdays, the focus on first and second down football. We're all in, evaluating what's happening on the defensive side, making sure we get to the runs, the passes, and all the things that we can utilize and take advantage of. Coming back with a great Thursday, our turnover Thursday. Our defense ended up getting an interception from us on the last day last week. Friday, Focus Friday. Can we finish the week of practice in a full speed tempo with great focus, with great intentionality? So for Andy, it's just about the process. Trusting the process, being urgent about it, bringing everybody along together so that we can keep taking the steps that we need to.
All right, Coach, we are looking forward to that game against the Raiders. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
My name is Matt Moore. I'm a working painter and muralist. Currently in the Bank of America Stadium working on this tunnel mural for the Panthers. And I'm really excited about it. Really stoked on it. I have been for a couple weeks. Trying my hardest to live in the moment and kind of savor it. North Carolinian, born and raised in North Carolina. My father and I actually went to the very first Panthers game ever played. Certainly living in the city since 2003, something about being pretty close to the stadium and feeling that energy, during the week. I've only become more of a fan. I come from kind of a football family. I played in, middle school and high school, but my dad played college. He was a coach my entire life. So I very much grew up around the sport. That's what's so awesome about this job is it's kind of this cool culmination, collision of all the things that I love the most, all happening all at one time. Getting to see the inner workings, the behind the scenes stuff, and just experience the hospitality and the kindness from everybody in this organization has made me even more of a fan. Really quite honored to be here. When they sent me the brand Bible and the sort of the vision for this season, it was jam-packed full of these sort of rocky granite elements and these sort of posterized looking Panthers. I've tried to do sort of a combo of both. I want to keep it as accurate to the brand Bible as possible, but also make it my own thing. Because they wanted it to be hand-painted, I'm trying to really lean into that element of it, right? And let there be sort of these kind of natural, loose brush strokes and splatters and this sort of expressive line quality. I knew rather than just treating it like just a visual, I wanted it to be an experience. That's the reason these guys start real small and kind of stationary, right? And as they progress down the wall, they get bigger and meaner and larger, and the motion starts to pick up. Because hopefully that has some type of an effect on the guys, right? I want them to feel a certain way here and a little bit different by the end of the tunnel, right? A little bit more fired up, a little bit more amped for the game. But yeah, it's been really fun to kind of just be loose with this and not have to think too much. And I've had several of the staff come through and allowed them to put a couple strokes on the wall, which is always fun because now every time they walk through and see it, they're like, yeah. Really, really enjoyed the opportunity and just the space, man. It's been one of the more fun projects I've ever had. And I've been really fortunate to have some cool ones. And this is, top three. But yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing the guys walk through the tunnel. When those blue lights go on, the music's playing, the fog's going off. Like I wanted the walls of this mystical Panther layer to kind of explode as they move down the wall. The idea is to charge. The Panthers start to get a bit meaner, a bit more aggressive. you're fully surrounded by them, and I think there's something pretty cool about that. Hopefully by the end of this stretch of the tunnel, they're just a lot more fired up and ready to get out there.
Up next, step inside TD's film room as he breaks down the Las Vegas Raiders on the Panthers Huddle. Closed captioning for the Panthers Television Network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, providing premier eye and ENT care to North and South Carolina.
Okay, now we are inside TD's film room, and TD, you are going to take us through some plays from the Raiders last game, and we start with a guy that instills fear in a lot of offenses, Max Crosby.
Absolutely, KB. One of my favorite defensive players in all of football. Max Crosby is a guy that gives max effort week in and week out, and usually when you have a guy that tries very hard and gives a lot of effort, they don't always equate to being extremely talented, but Max Crosby has it all. And we're going to show you just what I mean when I say that he has it all. As we look at this play right now, he's lined up right here on the edge. He's going to end up stunting all the way inside, looping inside, and we know how fast and athletic Lamar Jackson is. If Max Crosby is a guy that can get on Lamar Jackson before he has time to make a decision, that shows you just how dangerous of a guy Max Crosby really is. Just watch his ability to get skinny, get upfield, and get Lamar Jackson on the ground. That's a guy that we're definitely going to have to keep our eyes on throughout the whole course of this game, because they line him up all over the field, and he gives great effort from the start of the game to the end of the game.
All right, let's look at the offensive side of the ball. Brock Bowers had a great game last week. What do you see from him?
Man, Brock Bowers is a kid that I got to watch a lot at the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. You know, I love my Georgia Bulldogs. But Brock Bowers is a guy, he has 17 targets, which leads the NFL tight ends in targets. He has 15 receptions, which also leads tight ends in receptions. But it just shows to me that the Raiders understand what they have in Brock Bowers. And we as a defense have to also understand what he brings to the table. He's a guy with great hands. He's fast and he's physical. He's like a running back once he has the ball in his hands. And you're going to get to see that on this play right here, because he had to improvise on this play. They have him lined up right now. He's at the number 3 position, running the seam. They love using tight ends in this position. He sees the play break down. He comes back to the football. But watch, after the play, literally dragging 3 guys and almost ends up in the end zone. And I think that really just shows you how tough and how determined Brock Bowers is. And he's been like that from day one. He was a freshman at Georgia making plays like this, and he's now doing it in the NFL. So we have to absolutely know what they're going to line this guy up at all times. And KB, the next guy that we're getting ready to talk about,
one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Davante Adams, and it doesn't matter if you have him single covered, double covered, triple covered, they're going to throw him the ball. And as you see on this play right here, the defender does a great job of having him covered. But Minshew has a ton of respect and belief that his guy is going to come away with the ball. So we got to make sure at all times we're finishing the play when we're on Davante Adams, because right here, he's extremely covered. There's nowhere for this ball to fit, and he finds a way to get the ball to him right into the pocket, which started that fourth quarter drive that they needed to win this game. So I just think that this team, they didn't have a lot of expectations going into this game. Nobody thought that they had an opportunity, but with the playmakers that they have, they're going to utilize them. They're going to try to get them the ball, and we have to be prepared and ready and understand where these guys are at all time and know that even when we have them covered, that the ball still could be coming to them.
Well, TD, it is always a pleasure to get to watch film with you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
When we return, TD will give us his 3 keys to victory against the Raiders on the Panthers Huddle.
All right, it is time now for Thomas Davis's Coke 3 keys to the game against the Raiders. TD, what you got?
Yes, my Coke 3 keys to the game starts with The offense has to have more opportunities, and let's start with the defense taking the ball away. We have to get more interceptions. We have to punch the ball out, do whatever we can to give these guys extra chances to score points, because we haven't scored a lot of points this season, and I think that's something that's going to be big. If we give them more opportunities with Andy Dalton being at quarterback, that should lead to us scoring more points. Number two, I feel like we have to make sure that we know what Devontae Adams is at all times. He's a guy, we have to eliminate his production. If you allow him to have a great day, then that's going to usually mean that the Raiders are having a good day as a football team, because they go as he goes. And my number one key for this game, we have to handle change. We have to handle change and do it well, because we know that there can be a lot of things that take place when you make a change at quarterback. But I just feel like this is a very resilient team. They're capable of handling things that are being thrown at them. And this is going to be something that the coach is making a decision that he feels like is going to be a positive change. So these guys have to handle that change and handle it well.
Well said, TD. I completely agree with you on all 3 points. All right, that is going to do it for us this week. Thomas Davis, Kristen Balboni. Of course, we want to thank Coach Canales for giving us so much of his time. We want to thank all of you for watching. We will see you next week, but until then,
keep pounding.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.